Alright, so today is Thursday, just a day after I did an update, but kind of wanted to show you what I got going here. And you can see I got the scaffolding swung around this side now. Yesterday I was working on the port side, so I had it scaffolding over there. But let me get you up here and I'll kind of show you what's going on. I'm trimming the deck beams is what I'm doing over here. And note, stepladder is not leaning up against the side of the boat. Yeah. So I'm primarily using a planer, a power hand planer for this, and you can see what a horrible mess I got in here. But I'm getting all these deck beams trimmed down. This one back here, the second one from aft, needed a little bit more work, and then that one up there that I pointed out earlier, I think, or the other day, yesterday, I guess it was. That one needed a bit more work. But this is kind of a tough place to work for the most part. The raised shear here is not so bad because I can get at it from the outside here with my scaffold and a little ladder. But the stuff inside here, I don't have enough flat floor to get that step stool or step ladder, you know, real well situated in there. So yeah, there isn't really a sawdust in my mouth, sorry. Isn't a real good way to get that done anywhere from any position. So we're just kind of attacking it from every little spot we can. Now back here, I had way back when I built the frame and everything, I put that little 2 2x4s in there as a place to stand, which has proven to be very handy. And again, I was using it when I was trimming the transom, and then these deck beams here. But I'm getting all of this flush, the deck beams flush, and you can see I got a little bit more ways to go here. I'll move the scaffolding and get some more done there. But I'm getting it close. Again, I'm not going to get it absolutely perfect, but I'm getting it significantly closer than what it was. And this is taking a little more than I anticipated. I don't need to put much of a camber in these because this deck back here is pretty flat, so I'm not having to, you know, put a taper on these, on the tops of these for the most part. A little bit, but not much. But yeah, but it's mostly just getting these heights where they're at least close. If you can see that piece of wood there, I'm using a 1x4, an 8-foot 1x4. There's another one here that kind of gives me an idea of how we're laying across these. And you can see this one here is just a little bit of a gap there, but the plywood will pull down a little bit. So I'm not overly concerned with that. I don't know if that's going to be noticeable or not, but oh well, so be it if it is, I guess. I'm not a perfectionist, and this boat certainly isn't perfect either. But anyway, so that's what we're doing up here, and I'm getting close to being done now. I spent yesterday afternoon working on this, and then this afternoon I've been working on it a little bit this morning and this afternoon. And it's a lot of fussing around, a lot of moving around, and going up the boat and working on top, and going inside the boat and working from in there. And then, like I said, this transom, and then either side of the boat I'm having to pull the scaffolding around to work on it. But yeah, we're getting close. And the next step is going to be to decide on a layout pattern of the plywood. And I just already noticed that we're not gonna make it. Well, we would here on the side, but we're not gonna make it in the middle, 8 feet across here. So we're gonna have to, which is too bad because I think it's 16 feet or thereabouts overall, but I think it's gonna be just a little over 16 feet. So 2 8-footers aren't gonna make it. So we'll have to do something a little different. Cut maybe at 6 and some at 4 and whatever, but we'll do what we have to do. But yeah, making a huge mess. This poor aft cabin is just full of wood chips and sawdust and whatnot. But that's so much, you know, the way it has to be. So yeah, we'll get the vacuum out when we're done and get her cleaned up again. Hello and welcome back to the boat shop. Today is the 6th of November of 2024, and work continues up on the deck, and I've been getting some of the aft deck on. And as you can see there, I got it probably about half done or thereabouts. It's going all right. It's not a lot of fun crawling around on my hands and knees up here getting this done, and there isn't a whole lot of room to work up there either. Kind of like up towards the bow, it gets higher and it gets a little more interesting to work up there. And kind of the same as when I was working up here. Now back here, I'm getting the deck on. It's getting dark inside, so yesterday I hooked up a wire I had pulled originally back to the 120 volt wire back into that aft cabin to give me 120 volt power back there. So I got that hooked up both at the circuit panel and put an outlet just kind of floating around back there. So we can plug a couple lights in back there and get some work done inside that aft cabin also. Now, a couple things that have to happen here yet, and as I'm working my way back there, that last two frames sections in deck beams, or last deck beam and then the transom, that's a lazarette area, storage area, and it's a big storage area, but I need some way to get into there, so I'm gonna have to put a deck hatch in there, and so I'm gonna need to decide what to do there here sooner rather than later, because as I get the deck on there, that's gonna seal that area off, and I don't know, I haven't decided what to do there yet. I think I'm probably just going to build a hatch, a wooden hatch, and then, you know, put some latches on it or whatever to close up, hinges and latches, I suppose. I don't know. But we'll see about that. But that's going to need to be done. And again, I need to think about deck hatches up here too, you know, for ventilation and getting out of the boat in an emergency situation. But there'll be two of them up here, one hatch in the aft cabin, and then of course that lazarette hatch. And that lazarette hatch I would like to have made a little bigger, but unfortunately, and you can't really see it from here, but the distance between the frames, really the first two frames this side of the transom, is kind of narrow back there in that area of the lazarette, so I'm not going to be able to get a real big hatch in there. So I thought about, well, maybe putting carlins in and putting a bigger hatch in, you know, spanning, but that means cutting out one of the deck beams then, and I'm really not thrilled with doing that. But the problem is, like I said, that it's fairly narrow, so I'm not going to be able to get a very big hatch in there. I could make it wider, but its depth or length or whatever you call it wouldn't be very good. So I don't know. So I haven't decided there yet either. But again, this is just the first layer here, and the first layer here, we've got two more layers to go on. Of course, the subsequent layers should go on a little bit easier. These outside edges I'm epoxying on this first layer at least, just to get a good seal there. And I kind of screwed up in this little piece right here. This first one I did here on this side, I did not epoxy this 4-foot piece of plywood that I put in there. I just kind of forgot what I was doing, and I was putting down the glue, the adhesive, that PL Premium, and I went ahead and applied the glue across the outside edge too, where everywhere else I've been epoxying it. But it's going to get trimmed down, sanded, rounded over a little bit, and then it's going to have fiberglass wrapped over it. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal either way. As long as it's laying down properly and sealed up and glued down, I think it'll be fine. But I do kind of prefer the epoxy, so where possible. And not only is it, you know, a better adhesive, but it's probably better at sealing the wood up too. So most of it is epoxied anyway. That one little 4-foot section isn't. But other than that, doing a little bit more wiring and getting getting plywood down. That's been the extent of the work this past week. So I would guess that by next week we'll have the first layer completely done back here, and hopefully I will have decided what to do about a deck hatch back there in that lazarette. So yeah, we'll just keep plodding forward and keep you updated.